Greetings everyone to our professors. We are Group 5 and today we are to discuss the case assigned to us. A 30-year-old patient had clicking sounds, pain, and swelling in the posterior lateral aspect of his left knee. 5 days prior to consultation, while he was practicing for his upcoming mixed martial arts event, he rotated his slightly flexed knee with his feet fixed on the ground. He felt clicking with some pain on the lateral posterior side of his left knee. He had little discomfort while walking, causing him to stop his session. Later in the afternoon, he started experiencing soreness in the muscle around the knee associated with swelling around his kneecap. He then sought consultation with the orthopedic surgeon and was given medications and advised to undergo an MRI. MRI reported mentioned grade 3 tear of anterior cruciate ligament, longitudinal tear at posterior horn of medial meniscus, grade 2 tear of posterior cruciate ligament. Profile: the patient had no previous history of injury in his left knee. He is active and has been competing for 3 years. For this case, we are asked to give a short discussion of the anatomy of the ligaments and menisci of the knee, identify the patient's condition and mechanism of the injury, and lastly, as a physical therapist, how do we manage this case? Next.
Um, Let us first discuss what is knee joint. Knee joint is a hinge type synovial joint which mainly allows for flexion and extension and a small degree of medial and lateral rotation. It is formed by articulations between the patella, femur, and tibia. The knee joint consists of ligaments. So it prevents excessive knee extension, controls varus and valgus stresses at the knee. It also prevents and controls the anterior posterior displacement and medial or lateral rotation of tibia beneath the femur. So we have the four major ligaments, the MCL, LCL, ACL, and PCL. For medial collateral ligament, it is divided into two portions, superficial and deep portion. For superficial portion, it rises proximally from the medial femoral epicondyle and travels distally to insert into the medial aspect of the proximal tibia distal to the pes anserinus. For deep portion, it continues with the joint capsule originates from the inferior aspect of the medial femoral condyle and the insert of the proximal aspect of the medial tibial plateau. It resists excessive abduction or valgus and lateral rotation stresses at the knee, especially when extended. For lateral collateral ligament, it is located in the lateral side of the tibiofemoral joint, beginning proximally from the lateral femoral condyle, then distally to the fibular head, where it joins with the tendon of the biceps femoris muscles to form the conjoint tendon. It resists various stress, especially when the knee is extended. For the anterior cruciate ligament, the ACL coming from the anterior tibial spine courses posteriorly, laterally, superiorly, because it will attach to the femur, which is super portion of tibia. ACL is attached to the medial side of the lateral femoral condyle. It resists knee hyperextension and resists anterior translation of the tibia on the femur. It prevents anterior translation of the tibia on the fixed femur, and it prevents posterior translation of the femur on a fixed tibia. For the posterior cruciate ligament, it is shorter and less oblique in structure. It blends with posterior capsule and periosteum as it crosses to its tibial attachment. Attach distally to the posterior tibial spine, then travels superiorly and anteriorly to attach the lateral aspect of the medial femoral condyle. It resists posterior displacement of the tibia beneath the femur. It has an opposite function of the ACL. The menisci, the medial and lateral menisci are semi-lunar fibrocartilage structures found on the tibial articular surface that serves two functions: is to deepen the articular surface of the tibia, thus increasing stability of the joint, and to act as shock absorber by increasing surface area to further dissipate forces. It is divided into two parts, the medial and the lateral meniscus. For the medial menisci, um, its anterior horn attaches to the anterior tibial intercondylar area. Its posterior horn is fixed to the posterior tibial intercondylar area, and its fibers are continuous with the transverse ligament of the knee when present. Peripherally, it's attached to the fibrous articular capsule and deep fibers of the tibial collateral ligament, which allows for every little movement of the meniscus. For the lateral menisci, its anterior horn attaches in front of the intercondylar eminence posterolateral to the attachment of the anterior cruciate ligament. The fibers of the anterior horn and the ACL actually blends on itself. Its posterior horn covers a larger area and it's more circular in shape. Attaches posteriorly to the same eminence anteriorly to the posterior horn of the medial menisci, often anchored down by two meniscofemoral ligament and more laterally by fibers from popliteus tendon which controls the mobility of the meniscus. So what is the patient's condition and the mechanism of the injury? For grade 3 tear of anterior cruciate ligament, this injury occurs when the ACL is torn completely. Patients are usually in severe pain, inflammation and swelling will peak, and walking around a limb will become difficult if not impossible. The patient suffers from pain with longitudinal tear and posterior horn of medial meniscus, suffers from pain, swelling, and stiffness that increases gradually from hours to days after injury, instability, and inability to straighten the knee, and pain in the back of the knee with deep squatting. For grade 2 tear of posterior cruciate ligament, the PCL is injured in which the anterior tibia is flush with femoral condyles. The ligament's condition is near completely tear. There is a feeling of instability. PCL tear can occur due to rotational stress to the knee joint. This can be seen with the patient's case because it is stated that he rotated his slightly flexed knee with his feet fixed on the ground.
So for as a physical therapist, how do you manage this case? For examination, we will take the patient's history and we will examine the patient's stance, arterial pulses, pain, and assess his knee mobility. For evaluation, interpreting the findings will help in the additional information in determining the following: the diagnosis, in this case ACL, longitudinal tear at the posterior horn of medial meniscus, and PCL, the prognosis, and the plan of care. For diagnosis, categorize the findings through a defined process, organized to clusters and symptoms. For prognosis, we will look at the severity of the patient's, in this case, grade 2 ACL, longitudinal tear at posterior horn tear of medial meniscus, and grade 3 PCL. The patient's goal, living environment, predict a level of improvement and function, and the amount of time needed to reach the level. For plan of care, the following are options that we have for treatment on the patient's ACL, PCL, and posterior horn tear, respectively. We are focusing on conservative management for grade 2 ACL. 2 weeks of relative immobilization of the knee is recommended by orthopedic surgeons. Physiotherapy in this time period includes reduced pain and inflammation, reduced knee joint effusion, knee strengthening, which includes strengthening the quadriceps because it is a key factor in a successful recovery, as the quadriceps can take the place of the PCL to a certain extent to prevent the femur from moving too far forward over the tibia. Hamstring strengthening can be included, and important to incorporate eccentric strengthening of the lower limb muscles, and activity modification until pain and swelling subsides. After 2 weeks, we shall proceed to full weight bearing mobilization, weaning off range of motion brace, proprioception, balance and coordination, agility programs, and after that, return to play between 2 and 4 weeks of injury. For conservative management of grade 3 PCL, the knee is immobilized in range of motion brace, locked in extension for 2 to 4 weeks. Physiotherapy management in this time includes activity modification, quadriceps rehabilitation, which includes isometric quadriceps exercise and straight leg raises or SLR. After 2 to 4 weeks, avoid isolated hamstring strengthening, active assisted knee flexion over 70 degrees, progress weight bearing with pain limits, quadriceps rehabilitation that includes closed chain exercises, open kinetic eccentric exercises, and eventually progress to functional exercises such as stationary cycling, leg press, elliptical exercises, and stair climbing. Then after that, return to play and only after 3 months. And lastly, for longitudinal tear at posterior horn tear of medial meniscus, knee brace, quadriceps, strengthening exercises, ice, and elastic bandages is recommended. For interventions, we shall execute the chosen plan of care. And for outcomes, assessment if goals were achieved. Here are some of the sources we use in this case from different articles and journals. That will be all